Hi, it's the Bella Javera Foundation, and I wanted to talk about free will. Um, so just for a little bit of background on this, Satan is all about being obstinate or determined, and Jesus is the one that gave us free will. But so I wanted to talk about free will though, about law of attraction stuff, but being like stubborn in itself isn't necessarily a sin. But if you are you know kind of the kind of person that believes about God and Satan, about Satan being all about sin, then you know watch this video, because I'm not talking about saying this video, but I'm talking in reference to Satan being about that, and Jesus being the one that gave us free will to choose him, but not sin. But this video is not about religion though, it's just about law of attraction, and I decided to make it about sex though, about free will, about law of attraction stuff, because it's an important topic to understand, and it's a really tricky subject, people don't like to hear about it. The law of attraction is that, so let's talk about sex for this video. Free will is it's when I want to talk about either having free will or being forced to have sex, you know. So first of all, free will is what we all have. We've all been given free will, and that person on the sex, it doesn't have free will. And I've talked about boundaries and resistance in my other videos about communication, something you're on speaking, part two, and Jupiter, which is belief. Um, in my videos for Harry Styles, the Jupiter they use is what it's saying. So watch this video more about that, because it's important to understand boundaries and resistance, and to talk about free will. No one is saved from being in a bad situation, um, because we all have free will. And if you are in situations where bad things aren't happening to you, and you're operating on a level of, like, of not wanting to be changed, or not uh, needing other people to choose how your life is, being obstinate and having to low in different vibrations. So, um, if you're operating on a level of, I don't have free will, you're operating on a level of, I want to be saved, or I want to save you. And that is not unconditional love. So unconditional love is in my video titled Unconditional Love, if you want to watch that. So you really should, because it's an important understanding word, to talk about, what they really mean, about free will. So, um, whenever you're operating on a level of, I don't have free will or choices, you're operating on a level of, I'm going to be saved from that situation, whatever. And that's not a level of saving, like I said, or I'm going to save you, whatever. And that's on a level of, I don't accept things about me, or You don't need or want people to accept you either. So you need to understand those kind of things and get in the vibration of I accept who you really are, and I know that I have free will, and I know that I have choices. You know, something about sexual, about free will, if you're operating out of I don't have free will, you're gonna attract people to you that want to take sex from you instead of being, in a situation with you where you're both having free will about it. And that is called rape whenever you force someone to have sex and, they couldn't get out of the situation. I just explained what that is. It's called law of attraction. You attract that to you. And I'm not saying you're not a victim of it or it's right, but you attracted it to you. That's all there is to that. You attract everything good and bad to you, whether you like it or not. It's called law of attraction. You're the one that chooses your chakras, how, not what chakras you have, but how they are. You're the one that chooses what vibration to be on. You're the one that chooses how your life is. No one else chooses it. The universe doesn't choose it for you. Now, getting into astrology is a little bit more of a, sticky subject to talk about because you don't have free will about the astrology birth chart that you have, like a Scorpio South Node, like what mine is, which is emotional trauma because of abuse in some kind of way, or because of situations where it just made you have emotional trauma, whether it's verbal or physical or sexual abuse or whatever else. So that's a little bit of a sticky subject for talking about all of this because it's not like you chose that, like, if you want to say you chose it, you can, because that's maybe a way to explain it, but it's not like your choice. It's not like you wanted to be sexually abused by anyone or anything. That's not what this video is about. It's never, my channel is never about saying you wanted that, but it's about law of attraction though. So coming into this world with the family you have is not necessarily your choice, maybe. Some people might say it is. If you want to look at it that way, then, that's fine. But I'm not neglecting talking about you not wanting abuse from people. It's not about that I'm saying or anyone is saying about law of attraction. What law of attraction is the fact that you attract it to you. So in a way, whenever you get into that kind of subject, it can be looked at as if you want it. It's not that you actually want to be abused, but it's law of attraction though. You attract it to you, whether you like it or not. And when you get into the subject of masochism, it's a choice. So when it comes to talking about choices, you can look like you want it. I always think and talk about, like, the fact that you look like you want abuse when you have it in your life, whenever it's, you know, I mean, it's law of attraction, and that's all there is to it, and it's a choice to live the way you live. I'm not talking about as a child not having choices. I'm talking about whenever you are aware of your choices more as an older, kid, or when you're into, adulthood. I'm not saying people should be abused or children should be, or in any kind of situation that isn't nice, but it's a fact of life. We are, and it's law of attraction. Especially as an adult, it's law of attraction, which is what I'm really talking about. So don't think that I like that people are abused or anything else, because I don't. And I don't like that I was. I hate it. But it's something to work through and to heal from. You know, free will, whoever does that to people, it doesn't take away the fact that it's my responsibility to heal then. You can look at it like you chose the life you have because of whatever reason. So that's kind of a little bit how I look at it, because it it's your own responsibility to heal. But anyway, so if you are confused about what I think, then you can leave questions or comments, but I'm pretty sure I've explained it well enough. It's not that we should be abused, but we are, and we all have free will. Every person on this planet has free will, so that's all there is to it. So when it comes to, like I said, sex, if you are operating on the level of save me, or I want to save you, or I don't have choices, or I don't have free will, you're gonna attract such people to you. If you get in the vibration of I have free will, I own me, I choose to have whatever, your any kind of life, your frequency is gonna raise. But if you choose to have good in your life, it's going to raise even more. When it comes to sex, this is for the topic of sex. There's nothing else for this video. I just want to give you a little background in the first place about this. But so when you're operating on the level of I choose to own my free will and I want to be around people, I'm not saying that everyone doesn't deserve love, because we all do. So don't think that. But when you want to have relationships about the topic of sex in a way that you have free will and the other person has free will, and you don't put your free will on them, or vice versa, you don't tell each other what to do. When you're operating on that level, that's what you're going to attract. And so it's important to understand that rape is law of attraction, whether we like it or not. You're operating on the level of I don't have free will and I don't have choices. I don't, you're operating on the level of save me, or I want to be saved, or save you, or, whatever. Whenever you raise your frequency and, your chakras, get balanced about what you value, and whenever you place value on yourself, your vibration, raises or whatever. So you need to understand that we all have free will, even if in itself being a victim to certain situations because you couldn't do anything about it is not your choice. It's still law of attraction. You still attracted it to you. But this video is about free will, though. So you need to understand that you have free will. You need to understand what it is, and how it works, which I explained. Whenever you say you're going to be saved from rape, you're operating on the level of that. You're operating on the level of I need to be saved, or I want to save you, or that's when you're gonna, I'm not saying thinking the thought I'm gonna be saved from that is gonna attract that situation to you necessarily, but you're operating on that level of I'm not talking about what's going to ever happen to anyone. That isn't how it quite works exactly. The level that you're operating on is more of a complex subject to talk about. I don't talk about what's actually going to happen in people's lives based on just one thought you have or whatever, or, anything like that. But in general, I'm just talking about what a frequency is, when you're operating on a level of save me, or I want to be, or I want to save you, or, that kind of a thing, you're going to attract that to you. And it's the frequency of I don't have free will. You got to understand that. It's not a punishment or anything else that we have. It's free will. It's law of attraction. We all have that. We're not being punished for, anything. We're not, being rewarded for anything. It's just free will and law of attraction. And the way we, you know, create our lives, you're the creator of your own life because you have free will. And it's extremely dangerous and unhealthy to operate on the level of I'm going to be saved from certain situations. That's dangerous to think that way. It's extremely unhealthy and dangerous, and furthermore, it's unfriendly. I've had people, religious people, say stuff about, me being saved, and I'm like, really? I completely see what you mean because, I have a Scorpio South Node, which involves abuse of some sort, especially from people. Your South Node is from 20 and younger, 30 and younger. So from childhood growing up, that's when that started. It's not anymore for me because I got out of that situation. But I was never saved from anything. There's no such thing as being saved from any kind of life. It's not reality. And like I said, whenever you're operating on that level, that's what you attract to you. People that think they don't have free will, or that you don't have free will. I'm not saying you're ever gonna be around just people that are a certain way, like, you know, ever be around a certain kind of perfect life, That's not how that works, because law of attraction and what's in you is so complex, and it takes, a lot of honesty to get to the lot of stuff going on in people's lives. So you're not gonna ever look at a person and say, oh, they have a perfect life, It's not how life works. That's not what this video is about either. So you're always gonna be attracting stuff to you, attracting, good and bad to you, because that's the way people are. It's never gonna be perfect or just good stuff happening to you. That isn't the way life works. Because, like I said, whenever you get into the mode of, my life's perfect, or my chakras are, your chakras are going the other way, getting out of balance too much. So balanced doesn't mean perfect. But so you need to understand that too. Whenever you're thinking about chakras, low and high, balanced is what you want it to be. Because, like I just said, whenever it's too high, that's not healthy either. That's not any better than too low, too much of anything is not good. So you're never going to have a life where your chakras are perfect or anything, where you're around perfect people or where you're ever perfect. So that's not, the topic that we're talking about. It's just free will. And for this video, I wanted to explain how that works for sex, because people so many times don't get that and think, they're living in a, happy bubble where life's not going to happen to them. But that happy bubble of things not happening to you is on the vibration of things being able to happen to you. So you gotta understand that. It's not, you know, it's not my opinion. It's not, people, making up what they think, or not necessarily on purpose making up what they think things mean, but people, operating on that level of, I'm gonna be saved, it's not, this dream world that people have created. It's a real thing that happens. It's that life, or that kind of vibration or whatever, where things can happen to you. It's like whenever people die or whatever, you're thinking, oh, that can never happen to me. Then you get shocked into reality. That can happen to you, and it's going to. That kind of thing can, at least, not necessarily about the topic of sex, but it's just an example of the way people think. So anyway, I think I've explained it well enough. If you want to leave comments or questions or whatever, feel free. And so, yeah, just make sure you're understanding what free will is or isn't, or, all that kind of stuff, because it's a very important subject to understand. And like I said, especially about sex, because you attract what your life is like. The universe doesn't create it for you. You create your own life. So just really, understand that and keep that in mind whenever you're living your life a certain way, because you're the creator of your own life. No one else is, and the universe isn't. So anyway, that's basically what I wanted to say about this video. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and I will be making more videos soon. And if you have, requests of, certain kinds of things you're wondering about or have questions about, feel free to tell me, and I can, make videos for you. So anyway, thanks for watching.